cab of the Union Pacific Big Boy steam locomotive, a fully functional, fully operational Big Boy steam engine. I'm sitting in the fireman's seat. Fireman is a very important job on a steam locomotive. The fireman provides all the power for the steam engine. So this locomotive was converted in 2019 to burn fuel oil. That's the sound you're hearing right now. You can hear that sound of the atomizer. That is, as that name implies, it's breaking those little oil droplets and combining them with fuel. And that's kind of the really neat nuance of a steam locomotive that is run by the seat of your pants. A lot of long apprenticeships to learn all the various jobs on a steam locomotive that build up to being able to assume this role and handle the responsibility of a steam locomotive fireman. The progression from there, of course, is steam locomotive engineer. Again, years of good long apprenticeship, understanding all the systems of the steam locomotive, how it works, how to take things apart, how to troubleshoot them. Most often, you don't encounter too many problems while the locomotive is operating, but every now and then you do. Remember, this is an 85, well, coming on 86-year-old locomotive now, and there are old technologies and old things, and with that comes a chance something might have a minor malfunction. Well, you have to be able to troubleshoot that as you're going down the track and know whether or not we need to stop right away and deal with this, or hey, there's a workaround, I can compensate by making some adjustments here and there based on the extensive knowledge and experience that I have as a fireman engineer and make it work. That's probably the funnest part of watching people learn the steam locomotive, is that nuance, developing that field. And it starts with an interest, passion. When you're interested in things, I mean, you can retain information a lot quicker. So up here we have two water glasses, the main steam pressure gauge, some other gauges for atomizer and what we call turbine front pressure. And here is the big firebox. You can hear the sound of that. Again, that fire burning and that low reverberating rumble is actually the combustion of the fuel. And so that air is coming in. There's not a lot of air right now because that's what we call a low fire, or we also refer to it as a spot fire. That spot fire, pretty low. It's not generating the heat that this locomotive would produce when it's developing its full power. Just to your right, you can see a safety control system. We get a lot of questions about this. These are modern, it's called a cab display unit. It's part of our positive train control safety feature system. Something that we've developed and installed fully on the Big Boy. It's fully functional, operates just like any other train. Over here, we have the air brakes, and that's called the number 8 ET. It's a 1930s era air brakes, the same air brakes that the locomotive was designed and built with. So it has the same air brake functionality as all the other railroad locomotives, but it's specialized in that it's custom for the Big Boy. You can also see, this is Ted Schulte, locomotive fireman. Part of operating a big locomotive like this is you're leaning out the window. You're experiencing all the sensory sounds and feels and smells of the locomotive. Plus you're looking ahead of the right-of-way, looking ahead of the track. You can see out the windows if it's really snowy or rainy, but your view is somewhat limited, so therefore it's just natural. You see photographs of steam locomotive people, they're always hanging out the window. The other side of that is usually pretty hot in here, as you can tell. And that's the other thing, is you're outside enjoying a little bit of a cooler breeze. So this locomotive, it carries 75,000 gallons of water, 25,000 gallons in the primary tender that's right behind you, and then 6,000 gallons of fuel oil, and then two auxiliary tenders equaling right around 50,000 gallons total, for a total combined capacity of 75,000. That plus the fuel, that will get us around to 250, maybe a little bit more, depending on how we're running, how fast we're running, and how many grades we go up. So the steam locomotive logistics is a lot different than modern locomotives. A modern train today will go through fueling stations along the route. The engine oil is checked and various other things are checked, but they will typically operate thousands and thousands of miles without a lot of human intervention. Steam locomotive, on the other hand, they travel right around a 100-mile range where they would require additional servicing, additional filling of the oil lubricators, greasing the locomotive, inspections, adding the fuel, adding the water. So you can see that just that contrast in what steam locomotives compared to how we live today.
Well, that's kind of an interesting question. So the railroads, they typically would paint the inside of their cabooses and inside of the locomotive cabs. There's all kinds of different theories. Sometimes it just came to what was easy and cheap. The railroad had a whole variety of different paints. Sometimes they would mix them together, and that ended up being some type of a green paint. I've heard people explain, well, they did some testing, and that green color, it's easier on your eyes. That sounds like a good example, doesn't it? But generally, it's just a traditional locomotive paint. You'll find different shades of this green. The actual color that this locomotive had in the bark was a little bit lighter than this. This is forest green from Home Depot. So that's what it is now.
Got our blowdown sign up, Teddy. All right. Yeah, that's real clear. So he needs to find him in his heart.